Boxing Bros UK. Larger than life. Massive.
Hello everybody, this is Boxing Bros UK here. I am a Hister Boss Chris. This is my co-host Andrew the Boxing Brain. Topic of the day is the big news. Dillian Whyte versus Moses Itauma. Wow. First there's going to be a big Riyadh show in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
We've got a source here from BBC Sport 5 hours ago published. Kakachi's going to be on the cards, taking on Raymond Ford. Let's read a little bit here, Belf. Can you see that, yeah?
Yeah, can see it.
BBC Sport, what can't speak, can't lie. 5 hours ago. BBC's credible source, for sure. Yeah. Belfast's Anthony Kakachi is set for a return to Saudi Arabia on the 16th of August to face former world featherweight champion Raymond Ford. And then yada, yada, yada. Also on the card is WBA featherweight champion Nick Ball, who beat Raymond Ford. Out of him. So that's great. That's great. Anyone else on the card? The Rider Season event will get Kakachi the chance to cement his position as one of the leading lights of 130-pound division. Yeah, so there you go. What can't speak, can't lie. It's all official in Saudi.
And then the Itauma bit, Chris, just read out the Itauma bit on there.
Oh, yeah. So according to Ring Magazine, the 36-year-old Kakachi will seek to continue his recent fairy tale run against the 26-year-old New Jersey southpaw on a card topped by a heavyweight contest between rising star Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte. So there you go.
There you go.
It's official. Main event, Moses Itauma, Dillian Whyte. You got Nick Ball on there, Kakachi.
And Ring Magazine as well. And Ring Magazine, you know, this is the, you know, consummate professional outlet run by Turki Al-Sheikh.
Yeah.
You know, he's putting on these big fights. This is all but confirmed, I would say, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
And Dillian Whyte also, and I alluded to this in a previous video with you, he leaked that he pulled out of the recent fight he was supposed to be on for a big fight in August. So, yeah. My first thoughts on it, Chris, and I think you probably agree with me, you might have some other thoughts, is that it's really good matchmaking because on paper, it looks great. Because if Moses Itauma wipes out Dillian Whyte, who I think could be tailor-made for Itauma, I think he starches Whyte. And it's a great name on the CV and it keeps that hype train going. I'm not saying hype train as a derogatory term at all, but it keeps that hype going. This is Dillian Whyte, who's been inactive, you know, who flattered to deceive against Ebenezer Tete. Looks like he's slowed down a bit. He's had his fair share of injuries. Obviously, his losses have all been to great opponents. Povetkin, but obviously avenged that defeat, but bad knockout. Lost to Fury in quite a bad knockout. Obviously lost to AJ. That was 10 years ago when he was a lot younger. But, you know, he's had a long career, a lot of fights, been a brilliant fighter. He's not what he was. I think Itauma would do a job on him. But, Chris, it looks good on paper, doesn't it? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, 100%. It's a very good look on paper. And let's have it right? Yes, Dillian Whyte's not what he once was, but
tough though.
He's still tough and he's still game and he will try and stick it on Moses. I guarantee that he's going to try and stick it on him. And if he goes past 2 rounds, it's a bonus because nobody, even Tyson Fury, shot Dillian really. He took him out. Was it about 5 rounds or something to knock him out? 5 or 6 rounds, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Nobody, and same with it, no one's just come out and knocked Dillian Whyte out in the first round or 2. It's not happened. So if Moses Itauma does that, I don't care how past his best he is. That is a good performance, and that is a great win. And it shows. Let's believe the hype. You can't discredit his win. Don't try and. I don't want people. If he knocks Dillian Whyte out in 2 rounds like everyone else, I don't want anyone to say, "Oh, he shouldn't have fought him," because that is good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Good.
And also,
he still fought at the top level. He's still experienced. Still hits so he's no mug. So I don't want anyone taking any credit away from Moses' win if he does that.
And Whyte's got good wins, hasn't he? You know, let's remember, you know, he beat. All right, Parker's probably the best version of himself now, but he was put down by Parker. You know, he was exhausted in that fight. Got the win against Parker. Beat Chisora twice when Chisora was a lot younger in 2 wars. Beat Helenius, who ran away the whole night when Helenius was sort of European fringe world level.
Beat Povetkin.
beat Povetkin avenged his loss, went life and death with AJ, wobbled him, was at world title level. Wilder ducked him. I think Whyte would have beaten Wilder and probably could have been, he's, don't get me wrong with that initial monologue I made. Whyte has been an excellent fighter, is very tough. Right? I still think he's got a certain amount of durability. I'm not sure. He's obviously susceptible to the uppercut. We know that.
Watch them uppercuts.
Yeah, maybe needs the old Foreman horizontal cross guard. Yeah,
cross guard, George Foreman.
He's a big man. He'll come to fight. He won't be scared. My other point, I'm a little bit surprised Whyte didn't maybe hold out for the AJ money or something because, all right, I assume Turkey's going to put up the money for this fight on the table because again, this is quite high risk, lower reward for Whyte, isn't it? So maybe the money's being put up, I guess.
Yeah, I reckon good money, but it's I don't think it's a low reward because Moses Itauma is ranked number 1 for the WBO, right? He's ranked number 1. So if Whyte wins this, he's mandatory because let's say Usyk beats Dubois, yeah, and there's no rematch clause, and Usyk says, right, I'm retiring now.
Yeah.
Parker gets elevated to WBO champion, and if Whyte beats Moses Itauma, he's the mandatory for the belt.
Yeah.
So, really,
it's a good point.
He gets him straight. If he beats Moses, basically, he could be a world champion the next year. And he's getting paid well for it. So it's quite a good. It's more a bit risky for Moses because if Dylan Whyte manages to knock him out, it's like that's it. His whole world crumbles. No one's going to give him a chance anymore because of how good he is. Even like if he gets knocked out by Whyte, it's going to be hard for him to come back because no one's going to want to fight him because of how good he is. And obviously, Dylan Whyte's past it. He's not going to get that much credit for it. So, but he's headlining his own show. And if he beats Whyte, I think it's a good fight. I like it.
It's a good angle you've come out there, Chris. This is what I like. This is what I like, though, because it will always kind of bring bits to each other in conversation that we didn't think of. And I didn't think of that, actually. Moses Itauma being number 1, and say what you like about him being number 1 with the WBO. At the end of the day, Frank Warren has good ties with the WBO, like it or not. And it is what it is. So, but we won't go there. That's a different video, right?
Any Frank Warren's fighters, check the rankings, and I guarantee that they're all shit in every other governing body, and like they'll be like number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, which will probably be another video. But the thing is, but I didn't think of it from that angle because Whyte might sort of think, look, he's in the kind of twilight years of his career. He has been inactive, but if he can kind of maybe one last dance. Maybe, catches Itauma a little bit cold or a bit raw or exposes some frailties and let's say manages to get a victory. Just never know in the heavyweight division. Yeah. He's then right in line. As you say, the landscape, Usyk, let's say, retires. He may be a bit, who thought Chisora at 41 would have got to an IBF mandatory position fairly recently, at one point. So maybe Whyte in his mind has thought, what saved the last dance and all the rest of it, So it's a fair point, Chris. Yeah, fair point.
The thing is, if Usyk retires, or when Usyk wins, he's got to fight Parker anyway, because Parker's the mandatory. But he's fighting
the interim, isn't he?
So if Usyk retires, that's it. Or if Parker fights Usyk. And say Dylan Whyte beats him, he's next in line for a title shot. If he beats Moses, title shot next year, basically guaranteed. Yeah. So it's kind of.
I think we're saying, aren't we, here, Chris? Yeah. I think we're saying, as we sort of come to some sort of conclusion. I think we're both in agreement though that we feel like Itauma will be too powerful, quick, quicker to the punch. Movement, reflexes. Whyte, look. Whyte's never been the quickest heavyweight, has he? No. Ever, really. So I think we're not suggesting Whyte's going to win. I think it's probably 70-30 Itauma, or do you think it's bigger than that? Do you think it's a wider margin?
It's hard to say. I'll say 70-30 is fair. We've got to give Dylan Whyte his credit. But like you say, because Moses is very composed and Dylan Whyte is very erratic. So I think he's going to come out and he's going to box Dylan Whyte at first. and Dylan Whyte's going to get frustrated, or Dylan Whyte's going to roll the dice and think, fuck it, I've got to stick it on him. At some point, he's going to be cautious to not get knocked out early and embarrass himself. And then at one stage, maybe after the third round, Dylan Whyte's going to go mad, and Miles is going to catch him then, uppercut.
I just hope he don't.
Guarantee it.
I hope Whyte doesn't come out switching stances like he did against Fury. And I wonder if they've kind of sparred a little bit as well. I'm assuming they've probably had some sparring. So maybe there's something in Warren's camp. Yeah, I reckon maybe there's something in Warren's camp where they've maybe seen him in sparring and they really fancy it. But yeah, I think Whyte could be tailor-made for Itauma. Could be.
He's gonna Moses is gonna knock him out with an uppercut. He's gonna set the trap, touch with a jab, bang. He's gonna hit him with that uppercut, guarantee it. And like Whyte switches off a lot, especially when he gets tired, and he's just and he's susceptible to that uppercut. And it's not gonna change. It's not a surprise that every time
slow as well, didn't they? His feet get so slow.
Like his feet in the concrete, like I can just see because it's no coincidence that every time he's been knocked out, it's been by an uppercut. Because he gets tired, his defense gets leaky, and it's just there for the taking.
Yeah. But yeah, again, people I really want people to stick in the comments. Do you think this is too soon for Itauma? Do you think he's gonna absolutely blow Whyte away? Yeah, give us your thoughts on
Do you think
this
1 or 2 rounds, will Dylan Whyte's finish, blah blah blah. Leave a comment, guys, please. Like and subscribe. Nice one.
Right. Okay, do you want me to